Like you might think that, wow, like how come a Taiwanese girl that has no Islamic culture in her background can come to this point that become a Muslim and marrying a Egyptian guy. I don't think anything. But you might say that, wow, like love is so powerful that can make people convert. I mean, from a non-Muslim and from a non-Muslim culture to Muslim. And I would say, actually, love is not the primary factor that made me come to this point. To be honest, like I had been going through the questioning journey, the so-called truth-seeking journey during the past 2 years, I would say. And this is a very real struggle of human beings because you started to question, why am I here? What is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of life? And why we need to work? Why we need to be a good human? Or what is right? Why that is right and why that is wrong? So this is a total, that journey was a total collapse of my understanding of the world or the universe. That I claim, like I don't believe in anything anymore. And that's why I find it a crisis. Like this is not gonna be possible if I'm gonna be healthily sustaining living this life, because if I don't believe in anything and I don't think that anything is right or anything is wrong, there's right or wrong, and this is not gonna work. Unfortunately, this is kind of a culture or a phenomenon in the background where I came from. Like Taiwan, I'm not trying to make it like ugly or sound bad. Taiwan is a nice country, I welcome you all there, but we somehow have a culture of, I would say, materialist, which means that people basically, their life is to study hard. Why study hard? Because you can get a good job and therefore work hard and therefore earn money, and therefore every Sunday you can go to a new cafe, and when the Nike company, release a new brand of new model of shoes, everyone will like rush and go for it and share on Facebook talking about there's a new shoes coming up. This kind of culture that I mean somehow they are still here, but it's very different. That you cannot believe the materialist degree there. And that is the background I came from. And I would say that is actually that phenomenon actually makes us lose the ability to think as a human. Like we become material, like we just think of money and we think of all the material things we can get. And that is very dangerous because as human beings, you should know why you're living here and what is the purpose of life. Not just earn money and get money and live happily. That happiness is actually come from material desires. So I make it too long, but this is one of the it's always out of control. But that is one of the things that make me become convinced about Islam, because this switch from a really material culture to a person that values spirituality and values the mental health, or value what is the real meaning of this life. And this is why one of the big reasons that Islam make me convinced. And there is another reason, which is also something I compared after I come from Taiwan to Turkey, which is the individual culture and the relatively collective culture here. I don't know how to name that exactly, but you can know like in Taiwan, basically, if I live my life continuous like that, I wouldn't have half of the people attending my wedding, because we are so individualistic that we don't really think we need to sustain or we need to try to maintain the community that we are in. So we basically live like we don't know who is in our compound, the city. We don't even know who are they. We don't care, because we just live in our home and possibly even just in our room, because who cares about parents? Sorry, I didn't mean it, but that is one of the phenomenon among the youth group there. For example, in Bayram, in many occasions that we will have to as Muslim, we will have to at least contact some relatives, some neighbors, visit friends. I mean, this kind of seems to be cultural things actually has a deep meaning that you might take it for granted as Muslim. But in Taiwan, there's no such thing that you just basically live your life as an individual, and you don't even think of the family concept. There is no family concept anymore. You don't need to get married because it's your life. You don't need to possibly create the next generation of the ummah, because there's no ummah and there's no next generation. So that is one of the two things that make me convinced, and I hope after hearing Liz, I just make it quick, that you can also think about this and experience other cultures so you can understand why Islam is the truth. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much.